back. You're listening to Home Wizards, and I'm Cindy Dole.
And I'm James Brownlover, Eric Stromer. That's when he was in Rocky, remember? And he was fighting the Drago, and he showed up, I think, wasn't that?
It kind of gets your blood going there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That's the one.
So when you're in your house, you're in your apartment, you're walking to the refrigerator because you know what, you're hungry, you want a snack, and then you go down and do something else, and now it's time to make a sandwich. It's lunchtime, and then okay, now it's time for another snack, and then it's dinner time, and you've bought all this stuff. You bought some great fresh vegetables and fruit, and then you have leftovers, but things are not lasting in your refrigerator.
You're talking about the rubber carrot, aren't you? The old rubber carrot.
Do you have rubber carrots?
Well, when they're sitting in the bottom of the drawer too long, heck yeah, I do.
And who doesn't have that occasional, science experiment where you go, oh my gosh, I forgot. Look, it was in there, and now it's all moldy. So
that's right.
Thought we'd walk through some ways to help you save money and make your groceries last as long as possible.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Now, my pet peeve, my number one worst thing that occurs in my life.
What's that?
You know what? I'd like to have a soothing cup of hot tea. I'm going to add a little honey to it. And then I go to get my honey, and it's literally like a brick, and I cannot get it out of the container. And if I put a spoon in it, it bends the spoon.
Oh, my gosh.
So what do you do? How do you keep honey from crystallizing? Well, here's what you do. It's basically a double boiler idea. You put the honey in a little container on top of a heating element, like a very gentle little heating element, something that you would...
Like a coffee warmer.
You could even do a coffee warmer, right? And you just have to sit in there with the water in there, turn on the warming element, and then let the water just melt the honey.
Oh, that
especially
sounds
if it's been refrigerated, because for some reason my kids put the honey in the... You don't need to put the honey in the refrigerator, but they do. But that's how you get it to kind of melt, and then...
Luscious.
You can, squeeze that little bear... Top of his head, honey comes out in your delicious cup of hot tea.
Love it.
And you're ready to go to night-night.
Perfect.
In my new bathrobe. My new Terry bathrobe.
What about the rooted vegetables? I have been I've been going nuts over beets. I'm a golden beet.
You're a beetaholic.
And a red beet. I just love beets.
I don't blame you.
And
they taste of the earth.
Oh, they're so yummy.
And they're riddled with vitamins and antioxidants.
Well, and so the key is, where do you store them? Well, think about it. These are dark root vegetables.
They're underground usually.
So instead of storing the rooted veggies in the refrigerator, you can actually store them in pots filled with sand.
Really?
Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it?
I didn't know that.
You can put them in a flower pot. Now, things you got to kind of think out of the box, okay? So let's say you have a little patio area and you have a flower pot. You cover the roots with sand, and then you just take them out as you need them, and you're going to put this pot not in the full sun, but kind of in a dark, cool area. Great for those wimpy carrots.
Are you kidding me?
Ginger.
You can put them in sand in a pot outside.
Outside.
Not refrigerated.
Not refrigerated. You don't want them refrigerated. No.
See, that's why my carrots are rubber carrots.
Now, some people, they'll slice the carrots and then they put them in water in the refrigerator.
And that works okay, too.
That works pretty okay,
and celery, too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, you've just been to the farmer's market and you've bundled up on some luscious
Boy, have you ever.
Veggies.
And they weren't cheap.
They weren't cheap. And so we want to keep all these babies in a container, in a flower pot with sand.
Okay, I don't mind that.
It's a little different.
I wonder if you're going to get play sand. Probably the play sand, because that's the stuff that's been washed.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think you'd want
Where do we get play sand?
At the hardware store.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's what you put in a sandbox for little kids.
And then you just rinse the sand, because you don't want sand in.
You don't want sand with
no,
it.
No.
But I will say now, if you'd been listening last week to our fine show,
right?
And again, you can find all this information at yourhomewizards.com. You would know that not only are you going to have the stuff sitting in sand and preserved, but you're not going to throw it out when you're done. Why? Because you're going to leave the root on, and you're going to grow again from
more potatoes.
It's
and yams.
like you're creating your own supermarket. You're a farmer.
Now, what about onions? Because I love onions, and I haven't done this trick. I usually keep them in a basket, in my pantry.
I do
but
too.
There's a better tip with nylons.
Well, here's what you do. Now, I know everybody out there, especially me. I've got some pantyhose
some
that I don't wear anymore.
Sure.
Right? Legs. Remember those? In the egg.
In the little shell, and you open it up.
You open up the egg, and I would constantly drive my mom crazy and use those eggs for my own purposes.
Oh, good.
Not pantyhose. Anyway, you take pantyhose.
What did you use them for?
I just put toys in them and
okay,
stuff.
That's
Played with
cute.
them in the bathtub.
That's
cute. Whatever you can think. You take the pantyhose leg, and what do? You stuff an onion down to the very tippy toe, and then you twist it up, knot it.
And then put another one in.
Put another onion in, knot it up, same thing. It ends up looking like sausage casing, but what you have instead are legs of pantyhose hanging with onions. Why? Because it aerates. They're not sitting in a bowl, so they start to rot sooner because they're touching themselves.
They're separated, right?
They're separated out. They can aerate. You can hang them on a nail in the back porch area, and it's going to look crazy. But you're going to use, does anybody really even wear pantyhose anymore?
We were leggings.
Oh.
That's kind of a different level.
So anyway, if you've got old pantyhose, put your onions in the pantyhose.
Okay. Here's a tip in terms of green onions, right? Yeah. You can freeze green onions in that plastic bottle of water. Even sodas in plastic bottles.
So you chop them up.
You chop them up, and you pour them into the plastic bottle. You date it, and then you freeze them. And it's a great space-saving way to keep the green onions around for a while when you need them.
And then you thaw it out, and then you use them?
Exactly.
Now, here's the deal. You don't want to fill that water bottle up to the top. You want to leave a good 2 inches because it'll expand on you.
Right.
So just leave 2 inches from the top and then put it in the freezer and you're good to go.
And again, there's no water going on in here. It's just reusing the bottle.
I'm sorry. I thought you were suspending them in the frozen liquid.
After you finish the water, you're going to use that bottle that you could have recycled. You're going to now repurpose it in your freezer.
Oh, so then they just toss right out. They can go right in a hot broth.
Exactly.
Delicious.
In your soup.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay, good. See? Yeah. Learning every day here.
How about storing your herbs in plastic? A lot of times you'll get herbs, and I get disappointed because the cilantro really quickly,
it goes,
or basil.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Sometimes they burn. They turn black, like the leaves are
icky. Or if you wash them, too, they get even more goopy.
Yeah, goopy's not good.
It's no good.
So how about, to keep them longer, covering them with some plastic wrap, okay, and then just kind of putting like a rubber band around it, and now put that in the refrigerator and pull it out as you need. It's great.
And you store it upright.
Upright.
So it's basically sitting on the root system.
Maybe in a glass. Maybe put it in a glass.
And that's probably going to keep the leaves from bunching together. They need to be aerated also. And that keeps them in a form. And then they stay dry.
Yeah.
And delicioso, I might add.
Right. A lot of times, by the way, when you go to the grocery store and they put herbs or veggies in these plastic bags, you want to quickly take them out of those bags.
Sure.
And let them air because, they have that instant shower.
The sprayer that comes on.
And then all of a sudden,
I always use that as an opportunity to kind of get my dewy skin going.
Oh, good. Yeah. And it usually has like a sound like thunder and lightning,
yes.
To warn
Something's
you.
coming. Run. Get out of the produce area. A storm's a brewing. Yeah.
Storms are brewing.
That's right.
And by the way, to keep berries lasting longer, you can use vinegar. You can soak.
Well, see, now that
strawberries.
is interesting.
Yeah.
Now, how much vinegar are you doing?
Well, you're just going to use just 1 part vinegar and 10 parts water. It's
so
mainly
tiny
water.
little bit.
Yeah, like
white vinegar.
Yeah. Just
you know
white.
how I feel about my
vinegar. I know
vinegar.
vinegar's for everything, but you're going to so you would pre-rinse the strawberries, right?
Yeah.
And then you would just kind of swirl them around for a few seconds, rinse, and then store them.
And let them dry, and then put them in.
So they're not going to live in the vinegar. You're going to give them a little bit of a rinsing,
extra something,
and they can last up to 2 weeks that way.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Now if you put the paper towel on the bottom of the storage container, once you've rinsed them and they've been dried off, that seems to also wick away unnecessary moisture that may make the berries kind of decompose faster.
Good idea.
I ran out of breath because I was so excited. I couldn't get my breath. It was so
Get your
exciting.
breath. Now, what about guacamole? I know you love guacamole.
I do.
And it's
now,
really
I cover
simple.
it with lemon usually, and that seems to keep it from going brown.
Very smart.
What else you got?
Try using a little bit of cooking spray, like Pam or something like that. The oil keeps the guacamole from turning brown.
And they sell that stuff that has it's olive oil instead of. See, why not do it?
Or coconut oil.
Perfect.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. We'll put all this on the website at yourhomewizards.com. We so appreciate you hanging out with us. Try some of these things to make the space you call home better.
Wait a minute, this show's over already?
It's
it
over,
seems like it went so fast.
But we're always here for you. Write us, email us, hang out with us on Facebook, you name it. Until next time, remember this. The key is under the mat. Bye-bye.